Hi everyone, welcome back. It is a brand new month and you know what that means. We have a new monthly exclusive from Nails Truly & Co. We're going to waste no time. We're going to dive right in, and I already can tell there's a bag in here, and I really like how the exclusives are in these little like themed bags now. I really like that touch. And then here is the bag, and it's kind of a sneak peek of everything that is themed in here. So everything is in this bag, and the first thing we have in here are some really fun scrunchies that are screaming 80s vibes. I'm totally in my like gymnastics era. I have a son who's in like toddler gymnastics, so I'm definitely going to be rocking those. So everything, I just pulled everything out of that bag here. And the first item in here, it's a cuticle oil. I love the cuticle oils from Nails Truly & Co. They're fast absorbing and they're not greasy. I really like that keychain holder as well. Each exclusive has 2 dip powders that you cannot get on the website. They are strictly exclusive to the bag. So we have a really fun glitter, and then we have like this beautiful pink, and we're going to dive into those 2 colors here for this mani in just a moment. And then we also have 2 swatch sticks, which I love that that's included. And then here are the beautiful decals. So the theme is Labyrinth. It's like a 80s, I think it was like late 80s musical. I think it has Bon Jovi in it. I don't really know. I haven't seen the movie. And I believe I did a Labyrinth mani last year for like Halloween with some decals that were in something, and I still have not watched that movie, believe it or not, but I really like how beautiful and vibrant these decals are. Even if you're not a fan of the movie, you definitely can create some really beautiful manis. There's some jewel tones. This right here is amazing. I love the purple like snakeskin animal print. That is amazing. That's going to be really fun to dive into. And then this one right here is really fun with those masks, and then you have some feathers. And then the last one here that we have, this reminds me of kind of like a Christmassy kind of theme with the colors. So there's a lot of options here. Those owls are beautiful. Those are going to be great for the winter time. So here's everything in this month's exclusive, and we're going to dive into the dip powders here first so you can see everything in action today. We're going to do it on a set of short Coffin, and we are going to do the gel method today. But before we dive into those exclusive colors, we're going to dive into Glow It Up. It's my favorite. It is a beautiful like pearl shimmery white. It's very delicate in like on that shimmer side. It's gorgeous. It's very, very full coverage, and it also glows in the dark, so you kind of have best of both worlds. So I did a very thin, even layer of that gel base, and I dipped directly into that jar here, and you can see we have full coverage. So I'm just going to gently press everything down on the side just to make sure we're keeping the shape of this press on here, and check it out. Isn't that coverage amazing? Oh, it's beautiful. So we are going to cure for 30 seconds. We're going to do a complete dust off. And right here, I'm completely satisfied with this coverage. So we're just going to move on to the other nail. I'm not worried about building up strength or anything like that because the jelly tips that I use from Sundara Nails already have that strength factor. And I never ran into any issues if I was only doing one dip or even using gel over these. I can still wear them without any issues. I actually never broke a press on yet, knock on wood, right? And I can get the longest wear I've ever gotten from a press-on set is about 2 weeks. And to apply my press-ons, I just use a little bit of a little bit of dip base, and I apply that dip base to the back of the press-on nail, and then I apply the dip base to the actual press-on itself, and then I go ahead, line it up, make sure it's straight, and then I'll hold that nail down for 30 seconds. That's the best way I found that my press-ons last for me, is by using that dip base and really making sure you are holding that nail down for that full 30 seconds, and then avoid any heat, hot water, avoid cuticle oil and lotions, because cuticle oil and lotions and hot water are going to break down that dip base or even like your nail glue, so then you're not going to get that longevity. I definitely recommend applying your press-ons before bed. All right, so we're moving on to this beautiful color here. Check it out. We have that same gorgeous color. I love that beautiful silver shimmer coming through, and I really am just like completely blown away by these colors. So I only did one dip of that color as well, but we are going to take it up a notch here with this really beautiful glitter. This glitter to me was very hypnotizing. It's very metallic. It's very sparkly. It's like a whole bunch of just like rainbow glitters giving you like the ultimate micro reflectiveness. It's really fun, and I really like that it still pulls in like almost like the silver base, but yet you still have these really beautiful colors kind of shining through. And this color right here really pulls in every color on that decal sheet. So I'm loving this right here, and it's very easy to work with. They're very fine glitters. You can see here everything is laying super flat. So we pressed everything down, and I'm loving the coverage. You could totally stop here if you want, but we're gonna cure and we're gonna dust off, and we're gonna go ahead and build up this sparkle even more, because I wanted the colors from the sparkle to really shine through, because we're going to do something really fun here for the finishing touch of this set today. So I really wanted like those colors to kind of just like shine through, because we are going to be placing a decal over that today. So right here we are dipping back into that cupcake liner here, and I'm just going to make sure, since this is a glitter and I really want to cut down on my filing and buffing, I'm just going to take those extra few seconds and just really press everything down so everything is laying completely flat to the nail. And again, I'm going to focus on those sidewalls there right by that cuticle line. That's where I tend to hold that bulk, and I really want to keep the shape of this short coffin. But check it out, it is sparkly, it is gorgeous, and if this is going to be gorgeous in the sun. You're going to have tons of different like color reflectiveness, because it does have like that holographic shift to it. So right here I'm applying another very thin layer of that gel base. I keep wanting to say dip base today, because if you've been watching like my last couple videos, I've been obsessed with dip liquids again. So we're dabbling back into the gel method, and I loved making this set today with the gel method. It's fun to like switch things up when you're doing your nails at home, and the gel method is just like an easy way to apply dip powders, and it just kind of eliminates some of those extra steps that are involved with the dip liquids. So all right, so we have everything pressed down, and we have this gorgeous sparkle. So you can really see here that color payoff of 2 dips versus 1. We're going to dust off, and we're going to continue on here with this really fun glitter. Another helpful tip when it comes to the gel method. So right now we're going over that glitter here with another layer of that gel base. Just make sure before you go ahead and dip, just take time and wipe off that brush before you stick it back into the bottle. That's going to really keep your gel base from cross-contaminating, because what's going to happen is your gel base has that beautiful clear finish to it, and what's going to happen if you do not wipe off that dip powder over time, you are going to start really clouding up that gel base, and then you're not going to get a good color payoff. So your colors that you're using, they're not going to be the same color that you think. They're going to look a little bit cloudy. They could look a little bit of a yellow tinge to them. So just make sure you are taking that extra time to wipe off that brush in between each coat when you are doing your second or your third dip. Also, you might not be able to, if you cure for 30 seconds and then you notice that that nail is taking longer to cure, that might be because you have too much dip powder in that gel base. So those are just a couple helpful tips when it comes to the gel method. All right, so we're done dipping, filing and buffing. This is it. We're not going to buff on top because I did take that extra time. Everything was laying super flat. Even with these glitters, everything was laying flat. So I'm just cleaning up underneath the nail, reshaping slightly here. And that is all we're doing for the filing and buffing. I did the rest of the nails off camera just to save some time today, but that was as easy as it was when it came to filing and buffing, and that is why I love the gel method. All right, so before we move on to those decals, I'm going to do a layer of gel base on all of the nails, and I'm going to cure for a full 30 seconds. That's going to get our nails prepped, ready to go for that decal application. It's going to give it a sticky base as well. All right, so for the decals, we're going to try and tie in 4 sheets here so you can see all these really fun prints here in action. Now, even though I have not seen the movie, I can still appreciate these decals. All right, so I went ahead and I placed that decal in room temperature water for about 10 seconds. I placed that decal on that lint-free wipe to let it absorb some water. And this process right here, from now until we do the last decal, you're gonna really see me work on these decals and we're gonna really bring them to their full potential on wear and tear, and you're gonna see how durable these decals are, and that I'm looking like I already put acetone on there, I already put that flat brush on there, and I am still able to move that decal around without it ripping or without those colors fading, and that is something you're really going to see today. So when we start applying the decal onto the nail, you're gonna see the decal application in real time, because I really thought this was important to show you how much I'm working on this decal to get it where I want it. So I wanted to use bigger decals on these nails today, and I did not want to trim all that. I mean, I trimmed as much as I could, but I did not want to risk taking away any of that image, because I really wanted like the full effect on this nail with the length. So right now I am using that flat brush that has acetone on it, and I am just holding that brush onto the nail and then dragging that brush down to really make sure that I am just melting this decal basically into this nail. And I am working right now right on that font there. See how the edge of that decal is still over the free edge of that nail, and we're just gonna slowly take our time and just remove all of that. And it's going to be a really awesome outcome because it's becoming flat with the nail. We're getting rid of all those lines and wrinkles, and it does take a minute for your decal to look like this, but the end result is very rewarding because you don't have any air bubbles and you don't have any wrinkles, and it's a very clean, crisp application. But it does take a little bit of time when you do it like this, and I just really wanted to show you this in real time for today's decals so you can kind of see some tips and tricks, and maybe this will be helpful for you. And you're also going to notice that throughout the application, especially when we get into those vibrant colors, how the acetone and the decals perform. You're going to get a really good visual, and you're going to understand that the quality of these decals from Nails Truly, it's amazing. So it's not only is it the paper, but it's the way she prints them and then how she processes them. That's all the steps are super important for like a super high quality decal. Not all decals are created equally. So if you have some decals at home that you're playing with and you tried this method and it's not working, just grab some from Nails Truly. Even if you're not into the monthly exclusive that you see here, there are tons of amazing decals. You're definitely going to find something that catches your eye, especially for spooky season, and there's some really fun holiday stuff coming up, but options are endless over there at Nails Truly. All right, so here's what we're working with. See how everything is laying super, super flat. There's nothing underneath that nail. Then to make sure that this stays flat, we're just going to go ahead before we move on to that next nail, and we're going to do a layer of gel base. Make sure it's very thin. Make sure you cap your free edges and up on that cuticle line there if you're doing a press on, and we're going to cure it for 30 seconds, and then we're moving on. So I'm going to show you again the real time when we put the decal on the actual nail so you can see that whole process. So for these little masks here, I thought these were really fun, and we're going to put them on the glitter nail. And right here, you're probably like, that does not really look good because we have all that sparkle, and then we have like this dark silhouette of this mask. But stay tuned. It's all going to come together, and you're going to be able to see this, and it's going to turn out really good. So just hang in there. Trust the process for this one right here with these masks, because these were so fun and I love the final result. So same thing, I'm just dipping this brush into the acetone. And now the acetone that I find works the best for decals, and you would think acetone, 100% acetone is just the same, but for some reason the Onyx brand works the best for decal application. I don't know what kind of magic is in there. It says it's 100%, so it can't be anything too crazy, right? But that works the best for me. I've tried like the Sally's beauty supply store, like that huge gallon. That did not perform the same way. I tried the Target brand and I still did not get the same results. So I don't know. For me personally, the Onyx brand works the best. And then I do like using the flat brush from Sundara Nails. It's very soft. That's the one that you're seeing that has like the snowflakes on it. I also have the other one that's just like not the Christmas version, that has like the black with like the really pretty like diamonds inside. That brush is super, super soft. So you're going to be able to manipulate that decal. Some of those flat brushes that you're getting off like Amazon or from other third-party sellers shops, those brush, like the bristles are harder. Like I got one from Temu one time and it totally like distorted the image. So this brush right here from Sundara Nails is just super, super soft, and I'm able to really work, like you can see here, I'm really we're pressing down with this brush here. We're manipulating that decal to the nail here, and we are not tearing it or anything like that. And you can see here, this is a good way to get an indicator on the performance of this decal. So we're holding this brush right here to the decal, and it's printed on black. So a lot of times when you are working with a decal, sometimes you can risk fading that image, or that black will start bleeding, which is only natural. But you can see here, we're not having any issues. This image is staying true to how it was on that sheet when we cut it out and stuck it in the water, and it's staying true to that vibrancy, and that is ideal for me. So we're just going to continue moving this mask around here and just making sure everything is laying super flat. So see, when I'm pressing on this decal, make sure that decal is completely dry before you go ahead and start pressing it down, because what's going to happen is if you press it down and that's still a little bit damp, you're going to go ahead, and especially if you have a glove on, you're actually going to go ahead and that your glove is going to stick to that image, and then you're going to pull that up. So just keep in mind when it comes to that, when you're making sure you're pressing it down, just make sure it's completely dry. If you're making a press on, you can just go ahead and blow on that nail as well. That will help speed up that dry time. All right, so this one right here is beautiful. It has the most gorgeous colors. They're almost like jewel tone colors. They're very rich. They're vibrant. There's feathers. There's flowers. There's everything. So you can see here, I am peeling that decal up. It's not ripping. I'm really moving it around, making sure it is exactly where I want it before we go in with the acetone here. And that's another reason why I like using the gel base that's cured before I go in with my decals, because it gives me that little bit of wiggle room. I find that the Sundara Nails ones gives me enough movement where I can go ahead and remove that decal and reapply it. I also have wiggle room to slide it around. I know if I use the Model 1's base coat, it's a little bit more stickier, and I kind of have a hard time maneuvering that decal around. Also, all the Sundara products are HEMA 21 free, so just keep that in mind. If you are sensitive to gels, that might be a great option for you. So right here, I am really working this brush onto this decal because we have a lot of image here that I want flat to the nail. So I'm really just taking my time and just removing all that extra decal right here underneath the side of that nail. And I'm also giving that brush a few seconds, like right there on that area, and really just holding down all that extra decal, and then it's taking shape of the nail, and then you're easily going to be able to just remove that, or it's going to completely melt away. And then right here, I'm just now flipping that nail like on the side there, and I'm just working away that little air bubble here, and see how we have all that extra right there. We're just going to hold that down here, and then we're just going to easily have this decal take the shape of the nail, and now we're just removing all that extra decal. But that is my process for decals that are very intricate in detail and that are larger than the nail, or have a lot of like space, color space that is taking up on that nail. Because what's going to happen if that, especially with how we're going to finish this set, you're going to be able to see any imperfections when we finish up this set, because we are going to go in with a matte top coat, which I'm so excited to show you. It's a total game changer. But before we dive into that, when you're working with mattes and decals, if you have any lines or any wrinkles or air bubbles when you are working with a matte, it's not going to be forgiving, and you're going to see all those imperfections. So that's why I'm really just taking my time, and I'm actually really enjoying this process. To believe it or not, this was a very like satisfying moment for me. I have two kids, ages, well, they're getting older, but 1 and 2, they're going to be 2 and 3. I have one in November and then one in December. So they're almost 2 and 3. And they're during nap time, or when they finally go to bed, playing with decals and doing like intricate stuff like this is just very relaxing and satisfying to me, if that makes sense. So this is like totally like a zen moment for me. So I'm using that little tweezer here just to get rid of any of that extra decal here that was kind of just hanging off. Instead of removing it with the brush, I was just using this little tweezer thing. That tweezer definitely does come in handy, and just making sure everything is laying super flat. I'm going to go in with the file as well just to clean everything up here, but total optional step. But here it is. I love it. Everything is laying so flat. I am like obsessed with this decal right here. to me, like the colors and this sheet alone is just everything to me for the exclusive and those beautiful owls. But now that we went ahead and capped the free edge and that cuticle line, we're curing. All right, so this was a flower from the other sheet, and I really wanted to pull in 4 sheets today. But when I saw that thumbnail and then like a littler version of that thumbnail decal, we had to keep that same color kind of palette going. So unfortunately, we only used 3 out of the 8 sheets today, but it's okay. We still rocked it with 3 sheets here. So you got to see a good variety here of the sheets being used. But now we're going to go ahead and line this up on our last nail here. And this right here, I'm making sure that it's like I just showed my pinky nail there. I was making sure that that's where I wanted it, because sometimes you got to move the nail around to really make sure when you are looking at it and then like putting it on your hand, like you're still getting that same vision that you're seeing. All right, so now we're going to do the exact same thing, the same process. We're just going to keep slowly moving this flat brush over the decal here just to have that decal become one. So for today, we did decals on all 5 nails. You do not need to do that. I really wanted to showcase as many options as I could on these nails, and I wanted to show you that really cool writing that we used, and then the masks, because they were so dark on a glitter. I wanted to show you how those decals performed as well. And then we have these beautiful bright vibrant colors. You can see here too, so these colors are staying true to color with the acetone hitting it. They're not bleeding, they're not fading. Sometimes you could get like the marble inks. Sometimes when when you're working with marble inks and you hit it with acetone and it kind of spreads out, sometimes depending on the inks that someone's using for decals, that can happen if you are doing this method. So rule of thumb, if you are curious on this method, you could always try practicing on a swatch stick. That's another option. And applying decals, even though it looks tedious today, it's actually really fun and a really easy way to apply some effortless nail art. All right, so we're almost to that finish line here. We're doing that last layer of gel base on the nails here. And I'm just making sure I'm getting those free edges. And then I'm out of my Sundara Nails top coat. I have more on the way, but we are using the metals ones today. And I don't really prefer the metal ones because I don't think it's HEMA free or 21 free. And I noticed the formula changed. It has like this really strong like chemical scent. So I kind of stay away from that right now. It used to be my ride or die, but they definitely changed up the formula. So I cured that original top coat here for 60 seconds, and that gave it a glossy finish. And then we finished up with a matte top coat, and check it out. We cured for 60 seconds, and here's the matte finish. I love it. It looks flawless on the nails. The colors are everything. You can see here we have like no imperfections at all on these nails because we took that time, and the matte finish is just everything. So with that matte finish, you can really see those masks now on those glitter nails, and we just have the most fun set here. We have vibrancy, but yet we have like this really awesome like matte finish at the same time. I love it so much. And that sparkle, even though it's matte, it gives the nail a really awesome dimension. But even though I do not know what this movie is about, I'm about to find it on a streaming service so I can finally check it out. And I really love this set right here. This is like melting my whole heart here. Those vibrant decals with the flowers and the feathers are just to die for, but I really did enjoy this set. So I hope some of these tips helped you with your decal application and you got some inspo for this month's exclusive from Nails Truly. So everything that we did use in today's video can be found in that description box below. Don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you all in the next one.